Hello everyone. In the previous session of paper 1, that is animal diversity non-chordates, we have discussed related to the animal classification. In this session mainly we will be concentrating on biodiversity. So in this subunit you will be studying about different levels of biodiversity like species, genetic and ecosystem levels of diversities, and later here you will be studying about concept of biodiversity hotspots related to those biodiversity hotspots of India with emphasis on Western Ghats and Himalayan hotspots. So let's move to the discussion of biodiversity. So what is biodiversity? So when you hear the term biodiversity, it is nothing but the biological diversity. So here the convention of biodiversity, that is CBD, which tells that biological diversity means the variability among the living organisms. So as I have said, the diversity of the living organisms which are living in the environment. And also it is very much important indicator for environmental health. And this biodiversity, it helps in both evolution and extinction account for the biodiversity of the earth today. So usually as you can tell, the evolution and extinction and the biodiversity are the two faces of the same coin. And the term biodiversity was started, or it was coined by the Rosen in 1985, and it was popularized by the well-known sociobiologist, that is Edward Wilson. So these were the pioneers who gave the terms biodiversity, and later they started to use. And what are the levels of biodiversity? So there are three important levels of biodiversity. Those are ecosystem diversity, species diversity and genetic diversity. And also these are related to, or you can tell, these are mainly depending on the level of biological organization. So first we'll see what do you mean by the ecosystem diversity. So in ecosystem diversity or ecological diversity, the variety of the ecosystem within the region. So for example, if you take one ecosystem or a grassland or the mangrove forest, what type of genetics or what type of animals they are present within the region. Maybe fishes, maybe amphibians, reptiles or some mammals related to that area. So that is called as ecosystem diversity. So remember, the ecosystem diversity mainly there what it will be present, the variety of ecosystem within the region. So that is called as the ecological diversity or ecosystem diversity. So next, that is species diversity. So very important terminology. What do you mean by species diversity? So here the species diversity, the variety in the number and richness of the species of the region is called as species diversity. For example, if you take one patch of forest and if you start to count if you start to survey what type of animals there are present. So usually we know arthropods are larger. So species diversity will be more in one region, that is if you are taking a patch of forest, there the arthropods or the insects will be more. So I can tell the species diversity of the insects is maximum in the given region. So species diversity mainly it consists of three important components, that is species richness, taxonomic or phylogenetic diversity and species evenness. So later we will discuss about these subtopics. And next is genetic diversity. So genetic diversity is nothing but the means and variation of genes within the species. So the variety of genes within the species, that is called as genetic diversity. and the difference could be in alleles. So in your lower classes you might have studied about alleles. So alleles are nothing but they are representation of the chromosomes. So different variants of the same genes you can call them as the alleles. So it may be in entire or in the one particular type. So here what happens, the traits they determine the particular character or it can be of the same character. So usually that happens in chromosomal structure. And also the genetic diversity, it also enables a population to adapt its environment responding to the natural selection. So you might have known about the natural selection theory which was given by Charles Darwin. So here the genetic diversity is correlated to the natural selection. As I can tell, the amount of genetic variation is the basis of the speciation. So speciation is nothing but a one species or a type of animal which will evolve in its maximum. For example, elephants, they are maximum in the evergreen forest or the deciduous forest. So that is why you can tell the genetic diversity is maximum once they are naturally selected, hence they will undergo speciation. And also it plays very important role in maintenance of the diversity at species and community level. So this is about the 3 levels of biodiversity. So this can be asked for 2 marks. So you need to write the different 3 types and explain them. So this is the same thing about the levels or the types of biodiversity, genetic diversity, species and ecosystem diversity. So as I was discussing related to the species richness and species evenness. So this terms they come under measurement of species diversity. So now till now it is estimated that 10 million species they are inhabiting on the earth today, but still they are undiscovered. So how can you measure the species diversity? So there are 2 important terms, that is species richness and species evenness. So here species diversity is depending upon these 2 factors. So first we'll see what do you mean by species richness. So species richness is the number of species in a given area. So that is called as the species richness. So the species richness will be maximum. So the number of species per unit area also you can tell. So for example, if you take 1 square meter and if you start to count what type of insects, mainly on the land you will find the insects, so then you can tell the species richness is maximum for the insect. And later comes the insects, again you can find ants will be more, and later termites may be there, and you can find some ground dwelling insects or beetles. That is how you can tell what do you mean by species richness. So species richness is nothing but the number of species per unit area and the number of individual that species represent, that is called as species evenness. So here what happens, the species richness will be used for giving approximate sense of the biodiversity. But when as species evenness, so as I was telling, the number of individual different species of different species, that is species evenness. So now during the richness, if you started to count about only insect, that is richness. Then if you start to differentiate ants, termites and all, then it will be a species evenness. So here what they are telling, if a scientist want to know the relative proportion of individual within the different species, then the scientist will tell, or he will use the term species evenness. So species evenness tells whether the particular ecosystem is numerically dominated by one species. So that is what I was telling. So in that you will be having high species evenness and low species evenness depending on the count. So this is the question for you. If all we are really on this small number of species for our essential needs, why should we care about a million other species in the world? So to know the biodiversity and conservation, we should start to mainly conserve, because already many different types of animals they have become extinct because of the mass extinction. or by human habitation or destruction or afforestation. So that is why we need to conserve all the different types of animals and plants, and that is why we should know why we should study about the millions of species in the world. So here this is not so important related to your syllabus. So how can you know the value of a species? So value of the species, mainly the instrumental value, like the species has worth of its the instrument or a tool that can be used to accomplish the goal, like the pharmaceutical drugs. Usually the idea of the economic benefit, if you are studying about the biodiversity and conservation, so here the species are of different uses, the pharmaceutical uses or medicinal uses. So and intrinsic value, so it is nothing but the species has worth independent of the benefit, that is the moral value of the animal. The value can't be quantified. Like for example, you can ask, if I kill a small ant or a mosquito or a spider, what is the value of that? Like for example, now if you kill or if you remove the spider web from your home, what is the loss for you actually? So it is a loss for you, because the mosquitoes trap inside the spider web, and these spider, they feed on mosquitoes, and you can know the mosquitoes are the vectors which carry the diseases. So the disease causing factors can be reduced by different types of animals, not only spiders, many different types. So I'm not telling like all the insects and all you can include in your home, but there are some values for different animals. Next, the ecosystem services, or you can tell the benefits of the ecosystem or the biodiversity. So ecosystem services, like the instrumental value of ecosystem, it lies on the ecosystem services. So ecosystem service, it is very much beneficial for the human beings to obtain natural ecosystems like food and drink, medicines and industrial medicines also. So and also it provides the agriculture ecosystem, which also helps in the ability of the production of food. And there are wetlands, so these wetlands are very important. So you know about the Ramsar conservation, or here there are very less wetlands in India, and we know in our Dakshina Kannada also many wetlands are converting into the concrete lands nowadays. So we need to conserve these wetlands for the conservation of the biodiversity. And next, what is the result of this biodiversity? So result of biodiversity from the evolution. So if you are seeing the evolution point of view, so what do you mean by evolution? There is a drastic change or the change in the genetic composition. I can't tell as a drastic change, the slow sequential change that leads to evolution. So mainly this evolution, it depends upon the genetic diversity, and also the evolution that occurs at the multiple levels. Maybe these all terms you will be studying in your final year also, because there you are having separate paper on evolution. Just know about the terminology, not so important for your examination point of view. So microevolution and macroevolution. So in microevolution, what happens? The evolution below the species level, so that is called as the microevolution, the smaller amount. Macroevolution, so what happens? The genetic changes which rise to new species or speciation, or new genera, family will start, or the phylum will be considered. So that is called as the macroevolution. Coming to the important, that is genetic diversity. So as I have explained about the genetic diversity, so what happens in genetic diversity? Mainly the formation of new species or the variety of genes among the individual. It also differentiate, and genes determine the range of possible traits. So if you know little about the genetics, the genes are nothing but they carry your heredity and the variation. So they determine the range of possible traits, like maybe physical or behavioral characters. And also these organisms, they can pass down the traits from parents to offsprings. That is why we are brought like from the mother and father. When the traits are combined, or the when the triads are combined from both the genes, then only the new offsprings will be formed. So we don't look like exact as our mother or father. We are having some characters brought down by the father and some characters brought down by the mother. So that is how we are having the genetic diversity within the same species. And genotype and phenotype. So these are the two terms which you'll be studying again in the genetics also. The genotype means which represents the internal characters, maybe the blood grouping, or you can tell the color of the eye. Mainly they depend on the genotype, what type of genes it comes from your parental and the or the father or the mother. Phenotype is nothing but by just looking at you I can tell, okay, you are having brown eyes, or if you are having blue colored eyes. So that is related to just by visually what type of characters you are telling, that is called as the phenotype. So as I have given the color of your eyes, it is nothing but the phenotype. If you are studying about the genetic diversity, you should know about the mutation also. So mutation is nothing but the mistake or the change in genes that occur, that is called as mutation. So when it happens during copying of genes, then the mistake produced or the random change in the genetic code, so that is called as mutation. So I am not going in detail related to mutation. So here in this you need to concentrate mainly on types of biodiversity, that is the species diversity, the ecological diversity and genetic diversity. And coming to the evolution, so how the evolution is emphasizing on the biodiversity. So depending on these three important types, that is artificial selection, natural selection and random selection. So artificial selection is nothing but when humans determine when the individual breeds, or the artificial selection usually it influences the humans for the evolution. Like the different breeds in domestic dogs, usually they are from the wolf by the humans. Why? Usually there are different types of dogs you can see, like the German Shepherd and all. They are nothing but the crossbreeds of different dogs usually. So that is how they are finding the different breeds, and they also help in carefully controlling the breeding. So that is how we are artificially selecting the different types of traits. And natural selection, it leads to what happens? They will survive more, because this concept is mainly depending on the Alfred Wallace and the Charles Darwin. So they said like mainly the environmental determines which individuals survive and reproduce. So if you are selected by the nature or the environment, you are naturally selected, and once you are naturally selected, speciation takes place. That is called as natural selection. And depending on the theory of Darwin, we have the natural selection. I am not going very much detailed because this is not important for your syllabus. And random selection, how the random selection takes place, or the random processes, mainly due to mutation, genetic drift, or the bottleneck and the founder effect. So related to this, you need to know what do you mean by mutation, genetic drift. So I have already explained about the mutation. We'll see about the genetic drift. So genetic drift is nothing but the change in genetic composition of the population over time as a result of random mating. So for example, genetic drift, if I am giving an example, so there was in a particular region of a forest, there is a patch of forest, and one end you are not one end, the one patch of forest, it is distributed or it is divided by a flood now. So once the flood comes, the two regions are separated. So then what happens? The genetic drift will occur within the species because they are separated by flood. So some species may be near to the river, some species they are away from the river. So and the same species, they are distributed, or they are they are separated due to flood. So once they are separated, what happens? The genetic drift will occur. So this will be again studying in your final year in the evolution in detail. So this is not so important like bottleneck experiment and founder's effect. And okay, you should know what do you mean by range of tolerance, how we are having the ability to control. So that is range of tolerance. So extremities of temperature, humidity, salinity and pH. So that is how the species evolve on depending on the adaptation to the specific environment. That is what I was telling related to natural selection and speciation. And one more question for you, that is what could happen to the species when there is change in those environmental conditions. So think of that. So as I was telling about the genetic drift, a new species can occur, mutation, due to mutation, genetic drift and all. So if the environmental condition also changes, there may be a new species. So that is how the speciation occurs. And related, there can be a species extinction. So as I was telling about the extinction also, so we know species extinction, it is taking place in the polar regions, like the ice is melting due to global warming, and hardly we are having polar bears now, and usually they are not getting the proper food, and they are undergoing different types of physiological changes, and their adaptations are changing. But the extinction or level of the polar bear seals near to the polar region is getting slowly extinct. And also if you take the Western Ghat region, the extinction of different types of endemic birds and the snakes, which are very much prominent in the Western Ghats, so they are also getting extinct. So that is related to the sixth mass extinction. So this time we have lost around 2 to 25% of the species which were in around 1900. So around 20% means it is not easy to digest, because 20% of the biodiversity what we are digesting or what we have removed of, so that is mainly due to habitat destruction, over harvesting, climate changes and also emerging diseases. Like in this COVID time, you can know how now lot like this COVID has brought a good biodiversity level increasing, because due to less human interaction, but emerging diseases within the animals, that also leads to the extinction. So again, the level of complexity, it is very important. So level of complexity, they can ask you for 2 marks. So depending on how the complexity of the organism we are having. So single organism, that we call it as an individual, a group of organism, that is called as population, a group of population of different organisms, that makes a community, or the group of different types of community, they are present in a particular region or in the forest, that is the ecosystem. Overall ecosystems which makes on the earth, that is the biosphere. So you need to know about the individual and how the population and how it makes community, ecosystem and biosphere. So individual is nothing but it operates in the very lower level, and it is a single in number, and the individual must survive and reproduce, because it needs to transfer its genes from the parents to offsprings. So it also depends on the natural selection. A population, a group of animals, maybe if you see 5 to 10 sparrows in one region, I can tell it is a population of sparrows. So if you see only one, that is a single individual. So now the population usually it is composed of the individual that belongs to the same species. So same species that live in a given area of a particular time, and even that is also depending on the evolution. And there are certain scientists who are studying about the population, those study about population ecology, how the population decreases or increases due to maybe migration or due to habitat destructions and all. A community is nothing but a group of population of different species, like 5 sparrows you are having, and near to that 5 pigeons. So it is a community of 2 different animals, or 2 populations of animals in a community. So that makes a ecology. So community, it is a ecology is a larger region where different types of community they are present. So here what happens, due to the interaction between different types of animals, maybe the snakes, amphibians, reptiles or mammals, so there what happens, For example, snake is also feeding on rat, and birds like eagle and different owls and all, they also feed on rats. So there what happens, there interaction between the animals or competition comes between the animals. So those are called the interactions. So this you need to know about competition, predation, mutualism and commensalism. So now related to competition, so if you are for example related to in class only, I can tell there are around 10 students who are competing within themselves to get a good mark. So that is nothing but the competition. So there what happens, you need to struggle for your existence. So that is what the Darwin said. So struggle for the existence, then you will be naturally selected and you will be a new species, or you will be having good then if you are having good characters like to overcome all the difficulties, then you are naturally selected and you are the speciation. So that is how the competition or the struggle of the individual that can be obtained in limiting resource. Next, predation. Predation is a very wide terminology, like it is used for one species at a resource by another. Here there are different types of predations, like coming from the photosynthetic organisms like autotrophs, then you are having heterotrophs. In that heterotrophs you are having consumers like primary consumers, secondary consumers. There it starts to predators, or the competition takes place and predation takes place. And coming to mutualism, like bees and the flowers, or you can tell cattle, egg rat and the cow. So that is nothing but the mutualism. So there is a benefit for both the organisms. So that is why the, for example, if I am telling about a flower and the bee, the bees helps in pollination for that plant, so that what happens, the plant will evolve from one region to another region, or it is dispersed, and pollens which will help in production of the honey for the honeybees. So though that type of interaction, we can tell plant animal interaction, very much wider topic nowadays. Many scientists are studying about this plant animal interaction, and that also comes in mutualism. And you can see wide open mouth of crocodile and small birds which are going inside the crocodile mouth and eating the flesh of crocodile. So it is nothing but the mutualism, because the teeth is cleaned of the crocodile, and in other way the food is also given to the birds. So that is why that also comes in mutualism. So depending on this, you are having predation, mutualism, competition and commensalism. So here commensalism, only one type of species is benefited and one is neither harmed or helped. So for example, a large shark, to that many hundreds of sucker fishes are attached which suck the blood. So here what happens, the animal is not harmed because whales are very much larger, and sharks and whales are very much larger, and these sucker fish, they sucks around only 10 to 5 ml of blood and they will live off. So here commensalism. And bird using tree, so birds, they are using tree for perching. So what happens, trees are not harmed but birds are getting benefits. So those are the example. And I was telling fish using coral reef to hide from the predators. So this, they are called as commensalism. And symbiotic relationship like commensalism, mutualism and parasitism. So this is about the how interaction takes place between the animals. And what do you mean by keystone species? So keystone species are nothing but the very important animal or the vital animal of the community. For example, if I ask you about the keystone species of Western Ghats, you can tell like elephants, because they are very much evolved in these Western Ghats. You can see from Kerala to the regions of the Maharashtra or the Gujarat region, we have evolved you are having elephants. And you can tell, okay, for if you are in the southern Western Ghats of Karnataka, like in Mangalore and Shimoga region, Chikmagalur region, you can tell the lion-tailed macaque, it is a keystone species of this region. And king cobra, they are mainly found in our region, so in this belt like Dakshin Kannada and all. So you can tell the keystone species, they are evolved or the vital animal. tigers, they are the keystone species. So that is how the keystone species you can tell. So again, ecosystem engineers, these are nothing but the keystone species. They create the maintain habitat for the other species. So not so important related to your topic or the syllabus. And how the pattern of species richness. So pattern, you have already studied the species richness. Just go through this, how the species richness occurs, because they overcome the predation and the colonization, and also the formation of new distinct species, and the loss of area by they overcome these all different types of pattern to overcome there, that is to form species richness. So this is about related to your concept, that is biodiversity. Next, in coming session we'll be discussing about hotspots of the biodiversity. So in this session we have discussed about the levels of biodiversity and what are the different types of interactions. So here in the examination point of view, you need to study about what do you mean by biodiversity, what are the levels of biodiversity, and you should study about what do you mean by individual, community, ecosystem, biosphere, and what are the types of interactions. So that's about this session.